Gymshark is currently valued at over £1 billion and shows no sign of stopping. But what made this startup from Birmingham so successful? Well, it's a truly inspirational story for any budding entrepreneurs out there. It all started in late 2011 to early 2012, when Ben Francis and Lewis Morgan set up the Gymshark website. They did this while studying an ICT course together at college. Surprisingly, the website didn't feature any clothing and was originally designed to dropship fitness supplements, allowing the pair to get a feel for business and selling products without taking on the financial risk of buying the stock up front. In fact, Ben contributes much of his success from starting a variety of businesses at a young age, which ultimately didn't succeed, but provided him with the opportunity to learn from the experience and failures that they presented. Now, it's important to note that at this time, Ben and Lewis were both students who progressed to university after college and also worked part-time jobs whilst growing the Gymshark brand, with Lewis being a pot washer and working at Burton's, whilst Ben delivered pizzas for Pizza Hut, even continuing to work there when Gymshark started turning over hundreds of thousands of pounds. Essentially, the pair worked extremely hard and utilised every spare minute they had around work and study commitments to fulfil orders for the Gymshark business. But it was this secure income from the Pizza Hut job, which Ben refers to as a superpower, that allowed him to take risks with Gymshark and other business ventures, as he had enough money to survive, but at the same time he was able to reinvest all of the profits to grow the business further. Anyway, back to the early days of the Gymshark website. After dropshipping supplements for a short while, Ben and Lewis recognised that there was a gap in the market for gym wear for young people, just like themselves, that was both functional, but also looked very good on people who weren't professional bodybuilders. They were frustrated. They knew the style they wanted, but couldn't purchase it in the sizes which would fit them in the UK, or for an affordable price, especially stringer style vests. So, in true entrepreneurial spirit, they decided to try and make it themselves. However, there was an issue. They didn't know how to sew or print designs onto clothing, but this didn't stop the pair. Ben's mum taught them how to sew, and they learnt how to screen print the graphics for the gym wear from someone they knew locally. After investing their savings to buy equipment and materials, Ben and Lewis started producing the first range of Gymshark clothing in the garage at Ben's parents' house. They utilised Lewis's strong following on Facebook, which was around 50k at the time, alongside their knowledge of Google search to drive traffic to the Gymshark website and generate sales in the early days. Then, in 2014, all of a sudden the business started to take off after Ben and Lewis took their Gymshark clothing to the Body Power Expo in Birmingham, with the aim of promoting the brand to people directly in their target market. But they didn't go alone. They took a couple of famous fitness stars from YouTube, and this attracted a lot of attention to the Gymshark stand. It was marketing strategies just like this that have led many to believe that Gymshark were one of the early pioneers of influencer marketing, as they effectively engaged their core demographic of 16 to 25 year olds through YouTubers including Lex Griffin and Nikki Blacketta, amongst many others. Gymshark clearly know and understand the wants and needs of their core demographic, and have succeeded in reaching them by not only developing products which meet their wants and needs, but by also using extremely effective promotional methods via their social media platforms. In addition to this, Gymshark have used the behaviour of their target market to their advantage many times through the use of sales. The business typically runs 2 major sales each year, and the Black Friday one is arguably their most effective and attractive to their customer base. A great example of this was through a campaign named Blackout, which utilised their target market's fear of missing out by running a week-long sale starting on Monday at 3 PM until the end of the week, but they cleverly used a countdown timer on their website showing how long the sale had left, which influenced buyer behaviour, caused a sense of urgency amongst consumers, and increased impulse purchases. These types of sales have led to Gymshark selling 90% of their products in just one day in the past. Now let's just rewind a little bit. Going back to the Body Power Expo in Birmingham, not long after this event took place, Ben and Lewis decided to take the life-changing decision that many entrepreneurs face at some point by dropping out of the course they were studying and quitting their part-time jobs to pursue Gymshark full-time. This decision coincided with the pair committing to long-term contracts for warehouse units to store their stock, which in the space of months went from 1 unit to 3 due to huge consumer demand for Gymshark products. But, as with any entrepreneurial journey, it's not all been plain sailing, and there have been bumps in the road and major decisions to make along the way. For example, the pair decided it would be a good business move to only use Gymshark.com moving forward. However, they then found out that they would need to purchase this domain, which would cost them thousands of pounds at the time. And as with all partnerships, there comes a time when people don't fully agree, and this was one of them. The pair did not fully agree on the decision to invest thousands of pounds into the Gymshark.com domain at first, but Ben managed to convince Lewis about the benefits of doing so, and the pair made the investment. Then Ben and Lewis were shocked to find out that one of the suppliers they had used previously had actually registered the Gymshark trademark behind their back. The pair were obviously not happy about this, but had no other option than to bite the bullet and pay to purchase a Gymshark trademark back from the supplier. Around 2015, Ben and Lewis faced another tough business decision, as the pair realised that the original logo, which was predominantly a bodybuilding shark tensing, would make it difficult to enter new markets, attract a wider audience, and compete with the likes of Adidas and Nike in the future. Knowing they needed to change it to a more sleek, commercial and mainstream logo to grow the brand, but also understanding the risk of changing a logo, which the brand was so well known and recognised for, carried a huge risk. So they initially had a few designs made to test the waters, and they eventually took the decision to change the logo, but to limit the risk, they ran with both logos for a while until their core audience and current consumers were used to the design of the new logo. Gymshark as a business was then faced with major change in the years which followed. Firstly, in 2016, co-founder Lewis Morgan announced that he was officially leaving the business in a working capacity, but he decided to remain as a shareholder for several years after. Then, in 2017, Ben Francis took the huge decision to step down as Gymshark's CEO to allow Steve Hewitt to take over the reins, as Ben believed Steve was the best person to take the brand forward and provide the foundations for the business to grow even quicker. Since then, the business has gone from strength to strength and went on to experience rapid international expansion, with the business now operating in 131 countries worldwide. This resulted in Gymshark's profits rocketing from 1.1 million in 2016 to 18.6 million in 2019, with around half of Gymshark's revenue being generated in America alone. Fast forward to 2020, and General Atlantic approached Gymshark, which resulted in them purchasing a 21% stake in the business, valuing it at more than £1 billion at the time. So to put this into context, Gymshark has gone from a couple of classmates who started dropshipping fitness supplements online to a business which is classified as a unicorn in less than a decade, turning over £400 million in the 2021 financial year alone. Now, back in the hotspot as CEO, Ben is determined to keep growing Gymshark, with his sights set on the business becoming a global powerhouse, challenging the likes of Adidas and Nike, with their clothing being worn across the world. But he aims to do this in the most sustainable way, having committed to use 100% recyclable packaging, removing all hand tags from Gymshark products, and using 100% recyclable polyester by 2025 in all clothing products. Following his return to the CEO hotspot, Ben Francis made a major announcement towards the end of 2021, letting the world know that Gymshark would open its first permanent bricks and mortar store on London's famous Regent Street in the summer of 2022. This news comes as thousands of retail stores are being shut across the UK, as customers start to shop online more for convenience, and also because of other external factors such as the COVID-19 pandemic, which led to a sharp decrease in sales for many high street retailers. But Gymshark sees it as an opportunity to explore the benefits of multi-channel shopping for themselves. So that's it, the story of Gymshark so far, and how it has risen from a small startup by classmates in college to a global brand valued at more than £1 billion. Who knows what the future holds for this unicorn brand, but one thing is for sure, it will be an exciting journey which will inspire lots of people in their business ventures. Hopefully you found that video useful, and if you have, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Two Teachers YouTube channel to learn lots more about business through our weekly video uploads. Thank you for listening, and all the best.